Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Sweeping up the garage this morning a little bit. Got a 2006 or 7 Buick Lucerne. The gentleman that owns it asked me if I would replace the struts and the right front axle on it. Told him I'd be happy to take a look at her. I guess he's already got the parts bought for it, so as long as they're the correct parts, that uncomplicates things a little bit. A little bit less running for me, I suppose. But I don't want to do it with a dirty floor. Let's get this hot rod in here and see what we got. Alright, according to the door tag, built in September of 2009, so that makes it a 2010 model year, I'm assuming. And it is dark. Probably wouldn't hurt to turn some lights on. Not that that helps a heck of a lot. And oh, there's the emissions tag right there. It is a 2010 model year. It's got a 3.9 liter V6 in it. These are actually pretty nice cars. They're built on the same chassis as the Chevy Impala from that era. You just got a little bit, in my opinion, these have got a little bit cleaner body lines on them, and the interiors are just a smidge nicer, but basically the same car. So I'm going to get this thing jacked up, get the front wheels knocked off of it, get in the trunk, grab his parts, see what we got, and then get to it. Safety 14th. Jack stands down under here. Yeah, that's a good spot for him. Perfect. That'll do. And easy set her down here. Now just take the pressure off the jack and leave it right where it's at. And put a rag up there so that hood will stop hitting my garage door opener. We don't want to scratch this dude's car. One of the many benefits of working in a one-car garage with no ceiling. All right. Let's see what we got here. And of course, wheel nuts are all swelled up. Yeah. Two of them are all swelled up. Stay. Okay. The strut isn't leaking. Throw a light in here. boot is torn on the CV joint though. That explains the axle. And the axle seal is leaking transmission fluid, so good call for him on that. Okay. Strut assembly itself doesn't look all that bad. It's rusty. Usually, right there is where they'll show signs of leakage, because up inside there, there's a, just underneath this boot, there's a seal that when these blow out, they'll leak there. But just showing some age. But the CV joint, or CV boot rather, if I can get my hand in there, is just blown out right there. Though these can be rebuilt, but it's, I don't know, to me it just makes a lot more sense to just replace the axle for what it costs to replace them, as opposed to rebuild them. If I can get the light in here to cooperate with me, you can see, there we go, we've got some fluid seepage around the inside of that axle where it goes into the transmission at. So there's a ring seal in there that's going to need to be replaced. And he also mentioned to me that he wanted the sway bar bushings replaced. That I'm not real sure why on, but it's his car and he wants what he wants, so he's going to get what he wants. Car's not terribly rusty, so getting those bolts out of there shouldn't be too terrible, but we'll see. All right, got all our parts here. Got a new strut, right front axle, sway bar bushing, and the output shaft seal for the inside of that axle. Oh, that should be everything we need to get cracking here, so let's start yanking bolts and see what happens. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tie rod end loose. That way I can swing this knuckle back and forth uninhibited and not have to fight the power steering rack. So get that peeled off of there right quick. Somebody's been in here before. That wasn't very tight. Not very tight at all. Yeah, we'll take care of that. Now I can turn that and get to the back side of this caliper to get those bracket bolts out of there. Get the brake caliper hung up out of the way so it's not causing problems. I halfway thought about leaving the brake caliper on it to do the strut, but I have to remove everything to get the axle out of it. I think it's just going to make it easier. I could get it out of there with the axle in the car, or with the brake caliper on it, but I don't think I'm going to even try. Be a lot easier just to get it out of the way. No, I take that back, because ordinarily I would hang it by the strut spring. So I'm going to attempt to leave that caliper in there. Yeah. Oh. Okay, now I know why he's replacing the struts. The upper bearing plates wore out. Making all kinds of noise when you steer it back and forth. So, let's, wrong side. Get this nut off the end of the axle here. Yeah, somebody's definitely been in here. That should have been a lot tighter than that. But that's okay. It just makes my life easier. Less work for me to do. And take and drive these two bolts out of here, just like so. And we can just push that back like that. Now, for all intents and purposes, other than taking these two brackets off right here, that strut's ready to come out. Matter of fact, I think I might go ahead and just pull that strut, get it out of my way, And that'll make getting to that axle a whole bunch easier, I think. Oh. Simply because I'm lazy, I'm not going to move the camera off the tripod here. But up on top of the fender here, just inside of there are 3 bolts that hold the top of that strut in at the top of the fender. So pull those 3 bolts out of there and this whole strut assembly will just basically fall out. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out. Look to be like, I don't know what size they are. 15 millimeter. We're going to get them with a deep socket. My shallow 15 is missing. Ha! Mm-hmm. And you thought it would be my 10. I already found it. Oh, I wonder where that went. 1 bolt. 2 bolts. I'm going to take this 3rd one out. I'm going to need to hang on to this because it'll fall. Well, maybe not. Why aren't you falling? Oh, you're basically welded to the inside of the fender. Not really a whole lot to see in there, but judging from the noise, there's a bearing, a flat bearing that goes in between the strut and the upper part of the spring that allows the McPherson strut to turn back and forth. And this one here has started to seize up and make a noise. So, all right, we'll get this thing out of the way here. Slide it over there. And then I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the ABS sensor. Put that over there out of the way. Come out of its bracket. There we go. Okay, now. Oh, look at that. Okay, so this axle is just going to come right out. So I'll take that. So yeah, as you can see, that CV joint is blown. There's steel chunks and all kinds of crap in there. Doesn't have a heck of a lot of play in it, but it's still got to go. So now I got to get up underneath the car real quick. Put a power bar back behind here between the output side, between the transmission and the back side of the axle, and just give her a good little yank, and it should slide right out of there. They're held in by a little circlip, as they're called. Not a C-clip, a circlip. Then get up behind it like so with your pry bar. You know what? This is something I think you should see. Let's get you in here. All right, got all that finagled out. I wouldn't say figured, but finagled. Up here, between the output side of the transmission and the inside of the axle here, just get a prying tool of sorts in there. Make sure you get a good bite, and just give her a good pop. I said a good pop. Okay, that's stuck in there pretty good. So I might take a little bit of a hammer strike to get it loose, but yep. And we're gonna knock everything over in the process. Oh, working on cars is so much fun. I don't know if I got enough room in there to get a decent swat at it with a hammer or not. No, I don't. So I'm gonna have to put something in there against it and smack it from behind. Come around this side here. Little buggy's trying to make me look like a monkey today. There we go. Right there. And like that, it comes out. And out comes the transmission fluid. Great. It wouldn't be a job I did if there wasn't a mess to clean up afterwards. That's okay. Alright. I think I'm just going to let that sit and drain for a minute. I don't mess around and get covered in transmission fluid. I'm in no kind of a hurry today anyways. I don't think I am anyway. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get under that lip right there. Of course, my hands and everything are in the way. I'll give myself a spot to pry against here. There we go. I have a tool for grabbing those from the inside, popping them out, but as luck would have it, I left it at work. Not only do I do this for fun and YouTube videos, but I also do this for a living. I think the expression is glutton for punishment. Yeah, I've yet to figure out why, but some days I still like doing this. Now, I've got to find something to drive this new seal back in there. Because naturally I don't have my seal drivers here either. But that's okay. Wouldn't be fun if it wasn't challenging, right? Alright, give me a couple seconds here to find something. I didn't find anything. So, we're just gonna expertly and gently try to tap it in without destroying it. Once I get it started, and this shit is smooth. And to think all of this could have been prevented if I had just chosen a different career path. No, I didn't choose a different career path. I chose this one. And now I'm getting my full butt kicked here. I'm going to have to go buy a seal driver. Well, that just goes to show that absolutely none of us are perfect. So, I managed to destroy that seal trying to install it without a seal driver. So, I'm going to go get a new seal and pick up a seal driver kit and fix this thing properly. Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, new seal acquired. They didn't have, excuse me, they didn't have a domed seal driver that would fit this. So that tells me that I probably don't have one even if I went to work to grab mine. So what I did was I actually borrowed the cup from a ball joint press. It's right over that. Tapping in from the backside. Drive that bad boy right home. So let's get out of here and go get this car done. All right, we made it back to El Garajo de Fat Guy. Hopefully my little contraption here will get this seal put in here so that I can move forward with this project and stop breaking things. And right down in the oil it went. Why not? I think I should probably move that oil pan out of the way now that that's done drowning. Let's see here. Get a brake cleaner. Clean that back up so I don't have oil and crud all over my hands. I can't believe how difficult I'm making this look. This is actually a very easy thing to do. Oh my goodness. I said I should probably move this oil pan. And then proceeded to not move the oil pan. Oh! Don't worry, folks. I'm a professional. You wouldn't know it by my performance with this. This is what I do to keep the lights turned on. There we go. Run it with a flat bar like that. Just tap her on home. Throw that brand new old seal over there. Now, clean up this ungodly mess I made. Clean up around that a little bit where it was leaking before and slinging stuff all over the place. I'm not going to get too scientific with that because I don't want to. Alright, now let's get this new axle put in here. And installation is a reverse of removal. And just give it a good shot, like that. And I'm probably going to have to grab a rubber mallet or something and drive that the rest of the way in because it's going to fight me just as hard coming out as it did going going in than it did coming out. There it went. All right. Now, yeah. And line back up with the wheel bearing on the outside. And we're just going to let that set there for just a minute. Get that new strut put in there. Which, naturally the new one's missing a bolt. Because everything built in China is built with such quality. I'd never actually heard of this brand name before. It's Pro Strut. To say here. After installation, vehicle height may appear high. Allow coil spring to settle. It doesn't actually say where it's made. Not in there anyway. But I didn't buy it, so get this stuck back up in here and kick the hammer all over the place. And luckily the hardware that came out of this is in really good shape, so I'm just going to reuse one of the old bolts. Get one started there. And go ahead and run these down tight. All right. That's it for that part. Now, swing this around, line it up like that, and take the two strut knuckle bolts, push her in like so, get them started. Boy, there's a lot of pressure on that. There we go. Just tap it in the rest of the way, maybe. Every inch of the way this car's fought me so far. That's what I get for commenting about how easily it came apart. Next time I'll just keep my mouth shut. And now, plug the ABS speed sensor back in. I can finish snugging that up. because that didn't line up properly because the bolt holes were drilled in the wrong spot. Yeah. That's what happens when they're made of Chinesium, I suppose. Alright, struts in, axle's in. Put the axle nut on, and then I got to replace sway bar bushings. And then once I get the weight of the car down on the ground, I'll torque that to whatever specification it's supposed to be, which I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll know once I look it up. Replacing the sway bar bushings on this thing, I'm hoping won't be bad. But that bolt right there being so close to the back side of the inner fender structure doesn't look like much, but I'll bet that's going to be a problem child. You know, perhaps it's not going to be as miserable as I thought. Whoever invented swivel sockets is my hero. Let me see if I can get that broke loose. Oh, look at that. Something on this car had to go my way, right? I wonder if I had to get in there with an extension. Could I be lazy? Get away with a little something here. Make my life just a little easier. That bolt's in real good shape. I was worried these were going to be rusted to nothing. Beautiful. Okay. Now, if I were a smart man, and I'm not, I would probably go to the other side and take the bushing bolts loose on this so that the whole arm will move, or the whole sway bar rather, to make getting that old bushing out of there a little easier. But in the interest of who I am and how I operate, I'm going to try to do it the hard way. And slide that out of there. But no, I'm not going to get away with it. Okay, so I've got to go to the other side and take that bush. I'll get around here to the other side of this nightmare. Just going to go ahead and grease up this new bushing while I'm contemplating my next move. When I took the bolts out of this side, that sway bar actually lunged forward about a ½ inch, and it's going to make it exceedingly difficult to line the bolts back up to put it back together without cross-threading them. And these bolts here are hard enough to get to as it is, and the last thing I need to do is cross-thread it and I'm snapping a bolt off. Now, ordinarily that wouldn't be a big deal, but the sway bar end links on this thing I do not have, nor do I intend to go purchase, are still connected. And when I took the sway bar bolts out, the bolts, the sway bar links themselves are actually naturally at a kind of an angle like this, and when I took the bolts out of the sway bar bushings, they stood straight up. So once I get this bushing out of here, I'm going to have to figure out a way to pry that sway bar straight back that ½ inch, and it's going to be harder than it sounds to push that back. So that's going to be a little bit of a battle. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to go about attacking it just yet, but let's get that bushing out of there. I don't know if you can see from that angle or not, but I'll take this sway bar, I'm sorry, the tie rod end. I've got to get it loose because it runs right over top of that bushing bracket and I can't get it to come off. So I'm going to pop that out of there real quick. Okay. Got the new bushing slid in there. The tie rod end didn't want to cooperate, so I had to break off the bottle torch to make it cooperate. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pry against between the axle and the top of the sway bar link to shove that back. That almost, yeah, probably a good almost 3/4 of an inch. I don't know why it slid forward so far, but it did. If I can get one of them started, and it did. One in the back here, it doesn't like to cooperate. Kind of hard to get a finger in there to get it started. But I got it started. Okay, that's good. Okay. Oops. I don't want to run that in too deep until I get this one at least. There we go. I'm going to snug that down with a box end wrench rather than trying to rip it under the rest of it with the socket. That one's not so bad, but this one's, that angle is just a yeah, okay, good enough. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that off for the time being because I still have to do this strut on this side. So, alright, that's the sway bar bushings. Neato. wouldn't call it a raging success, but it's done. Gentleman that owns it's on his way. It's road tested. I'm happy with it. And he knows it's going to need a wheel alignment after replacing those struts. This thing was a blazing example of how even the easiest projects can go south. But it is what it is. You win some, you lose some, you break even on most. It is what it is. But I live to fight another day, and this guy gets to go to work Monday morning with a car that works like it's supposed to. So I'll take that as a win and move on to the next project. Thanks again for watching, folks. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you're liking what I'm doing. Throw a comment down there, show me some love, will ya? I'll talk to you later. Thanks.